All right, today is February the 14th, 10:47 a.m., 2026. This is the recorded interview with between Lieutenant Jacob Morris and Council President Joel Arredondo. Listen closely to the words that Mr. Arredondo uses, how that he was talked to Brianna Dahl and told her that it was good that she's going on with this, and that he got an email from the McCann, which Mr. Arredondo has refused to send us this email. Well, we're going to get it in court, Mr. Arredondo. I'm letting you know now. All your words will be played in court, and you're going to have to back up all these times you said you talked to me and warned me about being back there. And then other people were back there that same night. You didn't say nothing to Carissa Whitetalk. You didn't say nothing to Donovan. We were all back there after the meeting adjourned. You said it twice. So now here's the interview with Lieutenant Jacob Morris and Joel Arredondo, July the 3rd, 2024.
Okay, this is Lieutenant Morris with the Lorain Police Department. It's Wednesday, July 3rd at 12:58 p.m. I am on the phone with Joel Arredondo, President of Lorain City Council. Mr. Arredondo, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I am recording, sir. I'm just kind of doing a follow-up here on I'm conducting an investigation following up on the incident that happened right towards the end of the council meeting 2 days ago, Monday, July 1st, involving Mr. Garen Petty and obviously, Brianna Dahl, clerk of court, or clerk of Lorain Council.
Yes.
Are you familiar with both of the parties?
Yes.
Okay. Can you walk me, are you familiar with the incident or that there was an exchange between the two of them towards the end of the council meeting?
Yes. So to my recollection, the council meeting was adjourned. People were moving around. What I mean by that, council people. But then I looked to my right and I saw Mr. Petty walked through that side door to the council chamber, and I thought he was approaching the mayor. He was going up to the mayor's desk in front of me. And then I guess I didn't realize it, but upon talking with Brianna Dahl, our clerk, yesterday, she told me that he was trying to get past the mayor to get at her, that he was shouting at her about the minutes. And frankly, I did not hear the shouting because of all this other conversation. And I was having issues with my left hearing aid, which I told Brianna that I went Tuesday morning yesterday to the clinic to get it adjusted. But anyways, I did see Mr. Petty come in. I addressed him. I was sitting behind my desk, and I pointed at him and I said, "You're not allowed in here." And he replied back to me, "Well, look at Donovan, who is Mary Sprangowski's father. He had come in the center gate and was with her. She handed him some papers, and he turned around to leave." So at that moment, Mr. Kazura was coming behind me, and he said, "Come on, let's go." Because we usually go out the back door, the side door of council, and then we go out the back door to the parking lot.
So Mr. Kazura was talking to you when he said, "Come on, let's go"?
Mr. Kazura was the one that told me, "Come on, let's go," because I was blocking the seat to get out the door.
Okay.
So, like I said, the only confrontation or the only contact I have with Mr. Petty was that I told him, number one, I pointed him, "You're not allowed," and I know Brianna told me she shut off the film. But that I told him, "You're not allowed in here," he said about Donovan, what about Donovan, pointed to him in the center of the council chamber. Mary Springowski, his daughter, the councilwoman, handed him some papers. He turned around to leave Mr. Donovan. And at that time, Mr. Kazura says, come on, let's leave. So I moved my chair and I left, but I saw Brianna standing there behind her desk, and Mr. Petty was on the other side, and that's all that I could say that I witnessed. And I did not hear any exchange between them, although Ms. Knoll told me that, that he was yelling at her, and then he followed her out to the council office, and Mr. Nutt basically played interference, wanted to let him come in the office, and then I guess Mr. Damaki also came there also.
Okay. Now, at any time, can you describe maybe the manner in which Mr. Petty approached? I mean, did he look like he was coming up to have a conversation? Did he look like he was coming? I mean, could you tell by his body language, I suppose?
Yeah, well, number one, this isn't the first time we've had an encounter with him, or at least myself. Those plaques that we put in city council where it says the conduct of the people, how they will be, how you will behave, etc. That was initiated after Mr. Petty confronted council members back, either in May or April. We have to check with Brianna when she put those plaques up. And there's video that he was at the mic and he was talking about Mr. Thornsberry and some other council, which you're not supposed to direct your comments to any of the elected officials. And it's on tape. You can see the tape. There was a verbal conversation. I corrected him. I told him he's not allowed to do that. Mr. Thornsberry then turned around and accused me of not having control of the meeting. There was a back and forth exchange.
Okay.
So that is what prompted myself to instruct Brianna to get those plaques made up, that we will not tolerate that type of abuse. I talked to the chief, or Brianna did. We had the chief come in for a couple meetings, must have been in May, I believe. So he was there, and then he did not come back in June, any of the June meetings. There was no police presence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, sir.
Go ahead.
What are the rules, like, as far as public being allowed past those? I mean, are they allowed with permission? I mean, I know that there are some times when, like, someone's being recognized for something that they do, that you'll see a citizen behind those swinging doors.
Right.
And then obviously there's a sign affixed to that swinging door that says the public's not authorized to be there. So
Correct.
what are the rules as it relates to the access there?
Well, just as the sign said, you pointed that out. We had verbally told people that is our inner sanctum, that any place, you don't just come up there. So we had to make up a sign so people could say, well, nobody ever told me, or I didn't know. So those signs have been posted for a while. And once again, you would have to check with Brianna, the clerk, because she's the one who has control of the chamber.
Well, I guess you mentioned, Mr. Donovan being back there, but is there a difference in why Mr. Donovan was back there as opposed to why Mr. Petty was back there? Presumably, if he was, I know his daughter is on council, so presumably he was going back there because he was invited. I don't know if he was invited or not, but what I'm saying is there a time when a council member may invite somebody back there and they now have permission to be back there even though they're the public? Or is it like an absolute rule?
Everything is, there's no absolute. There's always, a change. You like to think it's absolute, Sergeant Morris, but the point is that Mr. Donovan, like I said, the only thing I saw him, he went in there, whether he was invited. I couldn't tell you. We had adjourned the meeting, and people were leaving, coming and going. But as to your original question about Mr. Petty, I saw him come through the door, through that gate. And once again, I told him, you're not allowed in here. And he deflected over to Donovan. And like I said, this isn't the first time we had an encounter with him.
Have you ever told him before that he wasn't allowed back there?
Yes, we've told him and everybody else that you're not allowed back there. That's why we even posted signs.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about him in particular, though.
Yes.
The sign is a general thing, but you've told him before on other occasions that he is not permitted to be back there?
Correct. Yes, I have. You could quote me on that. Yes.
Okay. And to your knowledge, did anybody invite him back there?
No.
Okay. Can you describe, when you said you saw Mrs. Dull standing by her desk as he approached, can you describe what she looked like? I mean, could you tell kind of her, feelings?
Well, you could see she was, to me, in that brief encounter, she was, I guess you could say, startled or surprised. But as she had told me, he had been, yelling at her. And like I told her, I said, unfortunately, I did not catch that. But you could see they had eye-to-eye contact. That's what I could say in that moment. She was looking directly at him. And that's about all I could say about that. Yeah.
Okay. And then with Mr. Petty's demeanor, like with regards to his, how would you describe his demeanor? I guess, was he passive?
I'd say it was calm. It would be aggressive.
Why?
Why? Well, number one, he came through the gate, which he's not supposed to, and number two, when he approached, I thought the mayor, but in fact, he had approached Miss Dull, and the only separation was that desktop between us and the floor.
If he wanted to, could he reach over that desk and grab her or assault her?
Certainly, is the size he is and all. Yes.
How would you describe his physical build?
Well, the man he's got to be 6'5", 6'6", 300 plus pounds.
And how would you describe Miss Dull's physical build?
She's most probably about 5'3", 5'4". Weight-wise, I'd say probably at least 150, 160 approximately.
Okay. So, all right. And I know that there was kind of a lot going on. But again, I appreciate you taking the time out to at least kind of fill me in a little bit on what you were able to see. How many times, if you had to estimate, and this doesn't have to be exact, and even if you can't estimate, I'm okay with that too. But you said that you've had specific conversation with Mr. Petty about him not being allowed past that swinging door. Was this on one other occasion? Was this several other occasions? And I'm talking specifically again with Mr. Petty.
I'm saying there's a minimum of 2 times.
Prior to this.
But I've had that, but I've also had warnings, and you can look on tape, to ask him to control his language when he's addressing the mic during the public comments.
Yeah, and and that's a different issue because that's more of a council rule than it is necessarily a legal thing. I suppose that obviously language could be a legal violation, but for this, one of the most important things is the law will state that someone has to knowingly trespass somewhere. And one way that I can prove that this person knew they weren't allowed there is if there was a prior conversation during which somebody told them you're not allowed here, right? Especially somebody in a position like yourself as the council president. When the council president, the man in charge, with running the meetings and keeping the order, says you are not allowed back here, and there's a sign, that's pretty important to note in my report. So when you say that there's been at least 2 prior times that you've explained to him that he was not allowed back there past that barrier, that really does kind of change things a bit on my end. And that's why I would just wonder, was it one time but you say it's at least 2 times prior to this?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. So I think that is pretty much all I have. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
No, I just want to thank you for your, follow-up. And once again, in speaking to Miss Dahl yesterday, I came in most probably around 3:30, 4 o'clock, because I had to sign the legislation, which I did not do that Monday, where normally I do it right after the meeting. But I guess with all this chaos, the big issue was this lead care contract. So anyways, I would just like to thank you, and I thanked Ms. Dahl yesterday, that I'm glad that, she is going forward, and she said that she had spoken with you, and also that she had spoken with legal, and that frankly, legal had tried to advise her not to go forward, and she really made me proud when she said that. She told Mr. Zaleski, well, what would you do if it was your daughter who's a teacher, if an irate parent came in her classroom and confronted her, what would you do?
Yeah,
so Brianna, I says, I'm proud of you that you're standing up like that, and I'm very thankful that I know the chief sent an email out, and then she informed me before that she had been interviewed by you. So, yes, I'd like to, I told her, the guy's a bully, and any bully is going to keep doing what he does unless he gets stood up. You got to stand up to them. You might get your nose bloodied or all, but you got to stand up to them.
Let me ask you one last question too, Mr. Arredondo. I apologize, but when you spoke to Brianna, you said you spoke to her yesterday.
Yes.
Did she mention anything about still being afraid? Or
certainly. Yeah, she was. She told me what you advised, and she's following your direction, like keeping the doors locked, changing the locks, etc.
Okay.
And certainly. A person like Mr. Petty, I can't tell you what his mental stage is, but you have more experience than I do with people with that type of demeanor. It's not his first time that he's confronted not just her, but other people on council.
Sure. No, and again, there's a difference between, voicing displeasure, his right as an American citizen, right? And certainly a citizen of the city of Lorain here is to, be able to voice his concern, but there's a difference between, causing someone to believe that physical harm will befall them.
Sure.
And being unhappy with maybe their actions as a either legally appointed or politically appointed person or elected person, right? And I don't need to tell you this. I know you're well aware. But I guess that's my point. Did Brianna ever tell you, or especially after the fact, that she's still in fear of any kind of physical harm or?
Yeah, she's concerned.
Okay.
To the conversation we had, she said not just for her, but for also our assistant clerk, Ms. Parton. Sure.
Okay. Okay. And that was verbal? Obviously,
Yes.
yeah, okay. Alrighty. Well, listen, I have no other questions for you, Mr. Arredondo. If you don't have anything for me, I'm going to go off the record. The time is 1:17 p.m. Again, July 3rd. We are going to conclude the interview, Lieutenant Morris, with Council President Joel Arredondo.
Well, there you have it. 19 minutes and 5 seconds, Joel's interview with Lieutenant Morris. Joel says twice or three times that the meeting was adjourned. Morris told the judge the meeting was not adjourned. Nobody's allowed back there, but Carissa was back there, Jerry Donovan was back there, I was back there, all after the meeting adjourned. Joel, you're going to be a great witness. Remember, Joel, you're in a lawsuit, and for my First Amendment right violations. Lorraine, have a good day. Valentine's Day. Garen Petty, I'm out.